What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Command and Console. My name is Jason. Today we got some PS2 pickups for Project PS2. I've got no footage from CEX or anywhere, unfortunately, for this video, so this is just going to be a quick fire episode of what titles have added to my collection. Let's just get into the pickups. So first up, I found this game in a charity shop for 50p. You know, when a game is that cheap, I'm going to take a whim on it. This is a game of a cartoon that I've not seen before. I don't know anything about this cartoon. I've heard very high praise about it. I've heard it's very, very good. People were saying to me, yo, check it out, it's really good. The game I'm talking about is called Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Burning Earth. I knew about this game solely because I remember it being on a lot of like easy achievement hunting lists when it concerns the Xbox 360 version of this game. But yeah, never seen the cartoon at all, so I don't know what I'm in for here. I've heard this game isn't particularly great, but it's an okay kind of just easy peasy kind of button bashy attack combat game of sorts. But for 50p, I thought I'll take a whim on it, and it's nice to see in a charity shop that they are getting games that are complete as well. The disc is very, very clean. Some light scratches here and there, but you know, I'm so used to going to charity shops and the discs are being just ripped to shreds. And I don't know how they think people are going to buy them when the discs are actually in that bad condition, but thankfully this one is in really good condition. That's Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Burning Earth. Next up is an RPG that I picked up the original game because I've got somewhat nostalgia for it, but playing it in 2023 is a kind of arduous endeavour because it's very clunky, it's very slow, it's very dated, it does not hold up at all in my opinion. So I thought, let's see what the sequel does for that. Maybe it improves things. So I picked up Summoner 2. Like I said, the first Summoner doesn't age well. It's very slow, it's very archaic, and it's just not a fun experience in 2023. I'm hoping Summoner 2 does a bit more of a better job. So yeah, back in the day, I think I just skipped over this one because I think I was over it at the time when this came out. I didn't really care about it too much, and I think I moved on to other games and other franchises. So it's nice to check out what this game's going to offer me in 2023 as a sequel to the first one that I said hasn't aged well. Again, this was complete in box. The disc is in fairly decent condition, all things considered, and of course it was £2 from CEX. I thought, you know what, that's not too bad. You know, when games are like £1, £1.50, £2, I'm really don't have a problem really giving them and just taking the risk and just trying them out. Even games that I've heard that are terrible, I'm just like, you know what, let's see how bad, for a quid I can see how bad it is. Let's have a look. But yeah, Summoner 2 there for the PS2 collection. Next up is a game that is actually on our PS2 created collection list that I've not abandoned these lists, I've just kind of been led astray and just picking up any old stuff because I'm actually enjoying collecting, so it's I've kind of broken away from the created collection. But this game is on our list for the created collection. I love the first game back in the day on PS1, one of my favourite PS1 games. The sequel was great as well. However, I have played those two PS1 games fairly recently and they haven't really aged very well. But then when it moved its way over to PS2, I was looking forward to the third game. This is what this is. I'm talking about the Tenchu franchise. This is Tenchu Wrath of Heaven. This is the third game, and apparently it takes place pretty much directly after the original first game, because the sequel Tenchu 2 was a prequel to the first game. Now this is actually a direct sequel to the original game. So yeah, I thought, you know what, it was there. I'm only taking this game if they have manuals, and thankfully it had its manual there, which I'm really happy about. The disc is in clean condition as well, as we always want to see. But yeah, Tenchu Wrath of Heaven for £4. I thought, you know what, that's a pretty fair price for that. There are other Tenchu games that I would like to get on PS2. Fatal Shadows is really expensive. Not expensive, but for a PS2 game, it goes beyond that £10 mark. It goes going closer to 20 quid, which is quite a lot. I think it's quite a lot for a PS2 game personally. But Tenchu Wrath of Heaven, yeah. I don't remember this game particularly well. But I remember just loving the first two games, and then this game came out on PS2 and I was like, I need to check this out. I think I've played this one on Xbox more so. I think it goes under a different title on Xbox, but it's essentially the same game with a bit maybe better graphics, a little bit maybe. But yeah, the Tenchu Wrath of Heaven, it can be crossed off our created collection list because this game is definitely one I wanted to get. Next up are the final two games in this Project PS2 episode. Were two games that a subscriber and commenter on the channel kind of pointed out in one of my older Project PS2 videos when I was scouring through the shelves of CEX. He noticed these two games and he was like, they are great platformers, you need to grab onto those, especially for £2 each. They were talking about the Ty the Tasmanian Tiger series, and I thought, you know what, if these have manuals, I'm just going to grab them. I love people suggesting me titles to pick up, especially when they're this cheap. It's always something to try out. I still haven't really got my game space set up, so I can't really play much at the moment in terms of my retro setup. But obviously I've got my PS5 and that you can see there. But as it comes to my PS2 stuff, I'm unable to play these yet. But I'm really excited. I'm amassing quite a big collection for PS2 at the moment, so I've got a lot of variety in titles to actually really get into and delve into. But Ty the Tasmanian Tiger was a heavy recommendation from my subscribers, which I really do appreciate all your suggestions, guys. So I had to pick this one up for £2. Yep, it's a complete in box with manual. Always good to see that. I wouldn't pick it up otherwise. The disc is in nice condition, and yeah, I just like to see what this is like. I grew up loving the mascot based 3D platformers, Super Mario 64, Spyro the Dragon, Crash Bandicoot. So let's see if Ty the Tasmanian Tiger can add another classic to those lineup of characters. But that is Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. Following off of that, I also picked up the sequel, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 2 Bush Rescue. I really like that artwork. I think the artwork might be better than the first game. Pretty much, he's almost like in more of a dynamic pose in the second one, which I quite like. Yeah, the artwork's quite cool on this one. Again, it was £2. £2 for this one, as pretty much exactly the same as the first one. The back art is pretty cool as well. But yeah, also this was also complete in box with manual. Apparently there's a third game which I will hunt for because I would like to have the trilogy on PS2. Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 2 Bush Rescue. There's a final game for today's episode. Yeah, looking forward to delving into all of these games, pretty much all these games. I'm really looking forward to delving into. So that's it, guys. That is the final game of our pickups for Project PS2 in this episode. Of quite a short episode this time around. I didn't have any footage from CEX, but I thought, you know what, I'd like to show these off and show you what I've picked up recently for PS2. As always, keep the suggestions coming for my PS2 collection. I love finding cheap titles that you recommend and you say, because I like to think I'm kind of slowly feeding you my taste in games, and then you can kind of like throw suggestions my way based on what you've gauged from my taste in games. So I love to hear your recommendations and your suggestions for what I should add to my PS2 collection, especially those kind of like underrated, kind of obscure, cheaper games that no one kind of really thinks about. I'm up for that because I never heard of this franchise. I never heard of Ty the Tasmanian Tiger until someone brought it up. Of course, I saw it on the shelf, so I saw it, but I never actually knew about it until someone says they're really good games, you should pick them up. So I'm always up for your suggestions there for what games I should actually think about adding to the collection. But anyway, as always, guys, let me know your opinions on any and all of these games in the comment section down below. And as always, let's continue to build a games collection.